Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Sam, and if you're new here, I hope by the end of this video, you'll hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about something that's been on everyone's radar. Billionaires like Warren Buffett. For years, analysts have been watching his every move, especially as we brace for what many believe could be a catastrophic market crash, potentially even worse than 2008. The key signal? Buffett is hoarding cash at an unprecedented level. That alone has fueled speculation that a major financial downturn is imminent. But here's what I want you to really understand. Markets move in cycles. Boom and bust patterns are a fundamental part of the economy. History may not repeat itself exactly, but it certainly rhymes. Typically, before a massive crash, we see an explosive market run-up. Euphoria takes over, portfolios skyrocket, and suddenly, people are flaunting luxury purchases. That's often the final warning sign. The best time to take profits is when everyone is celebrating, not when panic sets in. Now let's look at the numbers. Buffett is currently sitting on a staggering $325 billion in cash and short-term investments. That's not a small hedge, it's a massive statement. Holding this much cash means losing 6 to 8% annually to inflation, which raises the question, why isn't he deploying it into stocks or other assets? What does he see coming that the general public doesn't? One thing we do know is that debt levels are spiraling out of control. The system is unsustainable. So, is a crash really unpredictable? Not at all. Everyone understands it's inevitable. The real mystery is when. And even Buffett doesn't have that answer. That's why he's stockpiling cash. He's waiting for the moment when everything collapses and assets can be scooped up at rock bottom prices. But is something even bigger happening behind the scenes? Here's where things get interesting. Reports suggest that JP Morgan and the US Treasury are moving gold back to the US for auditing and potential use in a sovereign wealth fund. There's speculation that this is part of an effort to replace the Federal Reserve itself. Could we be looking at a modern-day return to the gold standard? Historically, gold was pegged at $20.67 per troy ounce during the early 1920s. The gold standard limited the Fed's ability to manipulate monetary policy, but allowed for a quick recovery after the 1920 to 1921 depression. Fast forward to today, and discussions around Project 2025 suggest that a shift back to gold is at least on the table. However, it wouldn't be the same as the old gold standard. It can't be. The financial system has evolved too much. Now, here's where it gets really suspicious. Why would Congress sneak a section into the Bitcoin Act final bill about revaluing Treasury-held gold from $42 to market value? If this bill passes, it could signal a coming gold revaluation, reshaping monetary policy entirely. Could this be the setup for something much larger? A global financial reset? Let's talk about Elon Musk. Recently, he made a statement about magic money computers in the US Treasury that instantly create and send cash. That's not a conspiracy. It's reality.
One of the things you told me about is what you call magic money computers at the Treasury. So tell us about it, because I never heard of that until you brought that up.
Okay, so you may think that that the government computers like all talk to each other, they synchronize, they add up what funds are going somewhere, and it's it's coherent. That that the numbers, for example, that you're presented as a senator, are actually the real numbers.
One would think.
One would think. They're not.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they're not totally wrong, but they're probably off by 5% or 10% in some cases. So I call a magic money computer any computer which can just make money out of thin air. That's magic money.
So how does that work?
It just issues payments.
And you said there's something like 11 of these computers at Treasury that are sending out trillions in payments?
They're mostly at Treasury. Some are, but there's some at HHS, some at, there's one or two at State, there's some at DOD. I think we found now 14 magic money computers.
14, okay.
They just send money out of nothing.
There are at least 14 such systems with little oversight or coherence. What does that tell us? The financial system is more fragile than most realize. and the potential for abuse is sky high. That's why blockchain-based financial systems are gaining momentum. Transparency, immutability, and decentralization could be the answer to this chaos. And outside of the US, nations are already making moves. Iran and Russia are discussing a gold-backed stablecoin for international trade, while more countries are experimenting with cryptocurrency settlements for oil. The financial war is intensifying. Even the Federal Reserve has acknowledged that stablecoins could help maintain the dollar's dominance. Right now, the US holds 8,133.5 metric tons of gold, valued at just $40 per ounce on its balance sheet. If this gold were revalued and tokenized into a gold-backed stablecoin, it could redefine global finance. Stablecoins are on the rise, and Washington is starting to take them seriously. We've seen legislation gaining traction, and once regulatory clarity is in place, we could witness an explosion in adoption. This isn't just speculation, it's happening. A financial reset is unfolding right before our eyes. With the US moving towards a sovereign wealth fund, increasing chatter about a new gold standard, and nations actively developing gold-backed digital assets, we're witnessing the transition from the old system to the new. The merging of physical gold with digital tokenization could be the perfect bridge. So what's next? I believe we'll see one last euphoric push in markets, a final blow-off top. Then when the inevitable crash hits, that's when the real shift begins. The US will likely unveil its new financial strategy, incorporating blockchain, stablecoins, and digital assets into the core monetary system. Elon Musk, the Federal Reserve, and governments worldwide are all preparing. The question is, are you? If you found this video insightful, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more in-depth analysis. Also, follow me on X. The link is in the description. This is Sam signing off. Stay informed, stay ahead. Peace out.